Here are the top stories for today, July 7, 2021. The Philippine Air Force dispels rumors that the ill-fated C-130 plane that crashed in Sulu over the weekend is overloaded. Condolences and tributes continue to pour in for the families of those killed in the mishap. The government is monitoring developments on yet another variant of COVID-19, the Lambda variant, which was first detected in Peru and has reportedly spread in 35 countries in Latin America. President Rodrigo Duterte condemns the illegal sale of COVID-19 vaccines. The palace is also warning those faking vaccination cards to stop the activity or be put behind bars. And no more paper license for drivers. The Transportation Department says the backlog on driver's license cards has been addressed. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. 16 out of the 50 military troops who perished in the July 4 crash of the Philippine Air Force C-130 cargo plane in Patikul, Sulu have been identified. AFP Chief General Cirilito Sobejana said these include the 2 Philippine Air Force personnel whose remains were transported to Clark Air Base in Pampanga Tuesday afternoon. Aside from the 50 military fatalities, 3 civilians also died in the mishap. Sobejana said DNA testing and dental record matching are used in identifying the victims who were burned beyond recognition. A scene of the crime operation team from the Philippine National Police is also helping in identifying the fatalities. Meanwhile, the initial 6 caskets of fallen heroes arrived at the headquarters of the Army's 4th Infantry Division in Cagayan de Oro City this morning. These were carried by C-295 plane and landed in Lumbia, Cagayan de Oro City this morning. The Philippine Air Force, meanwhile, denied rumors that the cargo plane was overloaded. Philippine Air Force spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Maynard Mariano said the C-130 that crashed in Sulu was not overloaded as it was well within the operational limits and capacity. He said the aircraft left Lagundingan Airport with 96 passengers. It has a maximum capacity of 120 passengers. Several countries sent their sympathies to the Philippines over the tragic C-130 plane crash in Sulu. The details from Marita Mawahe.
Russian President Vladimir Putin sent his condolences to the families and friends of those killed in the C-130 military plane crash in Patikul, Sulu last July 4. In his telegraph to President Rodrigo Duterte, Putin extends his deep condolences to the families and friends of the victims as well as wishes for the speedy recovery of the casualties. Meanwhile, Dutch ambassador to the Philippines, Saska de Lang, said she was very sorry upon hearing of the tragic incident. She said the Kingdom of the Netherlands offers its deepest sympathies and extends wishes for the swift recovery of those who were injured. Israel's foreign ministry and the Chinese embassy in Manila also extend their heartfelt sympathy and condolences during this difficult time. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Mawahe.
Back home, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP, extended sympathies and condolences to the families of the plane crash. CBCP President Archbishop Romulo Valle said the bishops are one with the families of the victims in mourning over the incident. He also urges the public to continue to pray for those recovering in hospitals and the families of the deceased. Meanwhile, more senators expressed their condolences to the families of the plane crash victims. For Senator Amy Marcos said, the incident leaves a huge void in our collective consciousness as a nation. For Senator Panfilo Lacson, prayers are needed to comfort and support the victims' families. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri said he is saddened by the loss of such brave and patriotic individuals. He also renewed his call for modern aircraft and training equipment for our troops. Government assistance is assured for Batangas farmers and fisher folks who might be affected by an explosive eruption of Taal volcano. These past few days, Taal volcano has been logging phreatomagmatic eruptions and volcanic quakes, prompting PHIVOLCS to predict that a magmatic or explosive eruption is imminent. Secretary William Dar said the Department of Agriculture is ready to distribute agri-fishery and livestock interventions and provide technical assistance in areas that may be affected by the Taal rumblings. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, says consumption of fish from Taal Lake is safe provided such fish are fresh and alive when caught. This after an estimated 109 metric tons of bangus and tilapia, valued at almost 9 million pesos, were lost to a fish kill in Talisay, Batangas. Secretary Dar said the Talisay fish kill did not result to a price increase, as the average price of tilapia remains stable at 120 pesos, while bangus is at 160 pesos per kilo. President Rodrigo Duterte says constructive and peaceful negotiations with China are needed to further boost mutual trust and confidence between the two countries. The president made the remark as he joined China in celebrating its centennial anniversary of the Communist Party. It is the sole governing political party of China with over 95 million members. In his message, President Duterte said the Philippines counts on China as a friend and a partner for peace and development. He also thanked the Chinese government for assisting the Philippines in its fight against COVID-19. The government will receive its much-needed cold chain transport and ancillaries from Japan as the country ramps up on its vaccination drive. The Japanese government signed on Tuesday the 687 million yen, or approximately 308 million peso grant aid for the cold chain development assistance to the Philippines. The assistance was earlier mentioned during the Japan-Philippines Summit telephone talk between Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and President Rodrigo Duterte last May. Moreover, Japan also provides 329 million yen, or approximately 143 million pesos in scholarships for government officials who want to pursue a postgraduate degree in Japan. The scholarship offers 2-year master's courses at Japanese universities. More Filipinos sign up for the National Identification Card. Based on the latest report of the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, the Step 2 registration has so far reached 16,170,330 as of June 30. PSA Undersecretary Dennis Mapa said he is overwhelmed with the number of registrants despite the health crisis. The highest cumulative registrants were from Biliran, Catanduanes, and National Capital Region, or NCR. Filipinos who wish to get a PhilID may log on to their website. Still to come, the Health Department calls for stricter border control following the emergence of the Lambda COVID-19 variant. And COVID-19 vaccines from the United States and Japan are arriving in the country this month. Details ahead, this is the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
You are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans. Please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic. because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. The government would impose stricter border controls to prevent the entry of the Lambda COVID-19 variant. The said variant, reportedly originated in Peru, has not yet been detected in the Philippines. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said the World Health Organization has not yet classified the Lambda variant as a variant of concern, but the country's strict border controls have so far been effective in preventing the entry of the disease.
Patuloy na paigtingin ang ating border control, okay? Para makasiguro hindi ito makalusot mula po sa ating mga ROFs or OFWs. Tulungan natin sila na makasunod po sa ating tamang quarantine protocol.
Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque assures that the national government is taking steps to prevent the entry of the Lambda variant into the country.
Sa ngayon, patuloy ang ating paghihigpit ng ating border control na naging epektibo dahil hanggang ngayon ay wala pa po tayong community transmission ng Delta variant. Mabilis natin na-isolate ang mga kababayan nating OFWs hanggang sila ay ma-discharge sa quarantine facility kaya hindi na ito kumakalat sa ating mga komunidad.
Bacolod City receives an additional supply of 20,000 doses of Sinovac jabs. The fresh batch of the China-made vaccines arrived at the Bacolod Silay Airport in Negros Occidental on Tuesday. This is the first Sinovac shipment received by the city and the province this month. The jab was stored immediately at the cold room facility near the government center before these will be rolled out in various inoculation centers. Bacolod City and the Negros province each received an equal allocation of 10,000 doses. More jabs are coming in as the government expects 1 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccines. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. said the donated jabs from Japan will arrive tomorrow, July 8. Meanwhile, the COVAX facility also confirmed the delivery of the 3,024,000 doses of the single-shot Janssen vaccines. It will be followed by an additional 2,028,000 doses of AstraZeneca by mid-July. All COVAX donated vaccines and the Janssen jabs are allocated for senior citizens and adults with comorbidities. Moreover, a total of 170,000 doses of Sputnik V, 250,000 doses of Moderna, and 1,170,000 doses of private sector procured AstraZeneca vaccines may be delivered within the first half of July. Also arriving this month are 938,340 doses of Pfizer jabs. Galvez, meanwhile, said that there will be a delay in the production of the Sinovac vaccine, which may also slightly derail the delivery of the China-made jabs this month. Galvez said that despite the 2-week delay in the delivery of these Sinovac doses, our vaccine rollout will not be affected and will proceed nationwide. He also told local government units to make sure that those who receive their first shots will be able to complete the full dose. President Rodrigo Duterte has condemned the illegal sale of COVID-19 vaccines, which happened just a few weeks after vaccination slots were reported being sold in Mandaluyong City. The National Bureau of Investigation earlier announced that the 3 individuals, including a nurse, were arrested for the alleged sale of 300 doses of the Sinovac vaccine on July 2nd. Duterte ordered concerned authorities to investigate the matter thoroughly and press charges. He warned against engaging in the illegal sale of COVID-19 vaccines, noting that COVID-19 vaccines are not yet allowed to be sold because they are currently not available for commercial use. Duterte said everyone, rich or poor, should be given free COVID-19 jabs. Meanwhile, Malacanang warned that people faking COVID-19 vaccination cards will be jailed. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque told the public not to take advantage of the eased rules on interzonal travel for fully vaccinated individuals by presenting fake COVID-19 vaccination cards. Roque, also acting as IATF EID spokesperson, said the task force would tackle the concerns raised by LGUs with regard to the possible use of fake vaccine cards.
Bigay po ako ng babala doon sa mga mamimeke. Yan po isang public document. So kapag kayo po ay nameke ng vaccination card, that's falsification of a public document. Medyo mataas po ang kulong dyan. Ulitin ko po, falsification of a public document yan, mataas po, mahaba ang kulong dyan, huwag naman po kayo magpakaluboso.
Travel protocols remain tight in Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur as COVID-19 cases continue to spike in both provinces, even as restrictions have supposedly loosened for travelers who have completed their vaccination. More on this and other news from the provinces from Leyte Cabagani.
Ilocos Norte is not relaxing its travel protocols even to fully vaccinated individuals entering its borders. Attorney Athena Nicolette Pilar, project head of the Metro Ilocos Norte Council, said the existing border protocols remain in place as coronavirus cases continue to spike, with most of them concentrated in certain barangays. In Ilocos Sur, local officials said they still need to finalize its protocols should they forgo the minimum COVID-19 testing requirements for fully vaccinated travelers. The Interagency Task Force for the Management of Infectious Diseases earlier allowed interzonal travel of fully vaccinated persons without having to present a negative COVID-19 swab test result. Meanwhile, a total of 28,720 violators of MSCQ measures were arrested in Davao City from June 5 to July 4. The Public Safety and Security Command Center 966 are now facing charges. Violators of the face shield rule topped the list, followed by the face mask and social distancing and mass gathering. As for RT-PCR violators, a total of 143 individuals were already arrested from November 13, 2020 to July 3, 2021. 11 out of these apprehensions turned out to be positive. In Zamboanga City, authorities have intercepted on Monday 32 individuals, including 10 policemen, for attempting to enter the city using fake RT-PCR test results. The individuals arrived by boat from the nearby provinces of Basilan and Sulu. The no swab test, no entry policy remains a mandatory requirement for everyone who will travel to the city, regardless of the purpose of the trip. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Leyte Cabagani.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque III appealed to the United Nations and the World Health Organization to remind wealthy nations to stop hoarding COVID-19 vaccines to boost global supply. Duque called on the UN and the WHO to ensure a more equitable distribution of vaccines as rich countries buy more doses than they need, which could hamper supply needed by the poor. Duque said he believes hoarding is not right, considering that a huge percent of the world's population has not yet received vaccination. He said he would formally write a letter to the UN and the WHO to remind the rich countries not to forget about the poorer ones. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque reported that around 12 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered in the Philippines. Roque encouraged the public to get vaccinated and continue observing health protocols to prevent the spread of the virus. Up next, a thing of the past. The DOTR says the backlog on the issuance of driver's licenses has been resolved. And South Korea races against time to contain the spread of the more transmissible COVID-19 Delta variant. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom. You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. The Land Transportation Office announced it has ended the backlog in the issuance of driver's license cards. In a Facebook post, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugades said the LTO has a backlog of 3 million license cards when the Duterte administration came in 2016. The LTO has since issued about 27.6 million driver's license cards from July 2016 to March 30, 2021. He also said, unlike the old paper licenses, the driver's license cards have security features that prevent tampering or other illicit activities. DOTR Undersecretary Goddess Hope Libiran meanwhile said everyone who applies for a new or renewal of their driver's license will immediately receive their driver's license card. She said by October of this year, the LTO is on track for its issuance of 10-year valid driver's licenses for drivers without demerit points in its system. The police regional office in Caraga reported the confiscation of over 10 million pesos worth of illegal drugs in the area from September last year to July 4 this year. During the period, a total of 428 suspects were also arrested in a series of anti-illegal drugs operations. PRO 13 Chief Brigadier General Romeo Karamat Jr. said the intensified anti-illegal drugs operations were conducted amidst the threat of COVID-19. The biggest haul of illegal drugs took place in Barangay Taligaman, Butuan City, where the buy-bust operation yielded 531,000 pesos worth of shabu from a drug peddler last June 30. Karamat assured they will emerge victorious against the drug menace with the support of the local government and the community. Meanwhile, 2 suspected drug peddlers were arrested and some 160,000 pesos worth of dried marijuana were seized during a buy-bust in Nueva Ecija on Tuesday. Colonel Jaime Santos, acting director of the Nueva Ecija Police Provincial Office, said police arrested suspects Gary Nagaño and Alex Benigno in Barangay Diversion San Leonardo Town. They yielded a small plastic sachet containing dried marijuana leaves, 4 bricks of dried marijuana leaves, and 500 pesos marked money. The suspects will be charged for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. A former New People's Army member from Antique expressed her gratitude as she personally experienced the Duterte administration's program to end the communist armed conflict through the whole-of-nation approach. Joy was with the CPP-NPA for 19 years until she surrendered in 2020. She received numerous cash aid from government agencies, which she used to buy a Carabao and send her children to school. Last month, she received additional assistance under the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program, or ECLIP, which she used to start a sari-sari store in Capiz. The former rebel said she was thankful to the local officials of Antique for convincing her that the government is here to support. She said the assistance she received enabled her to start a new life with her family. She is now waiting for her inclusion to the emergency employment under the Tupad program. Joy was one of the 35 rebels who recently embraced a new life under the wings of the government. In our news overseas, a South Korean health official warned that the Delta variant of COVID-19 is rapidly spreading across the country. Son Young-rae, spokesperson for the Ministry of Health and Welfare, said the variant, which was first identified in India, currently accounts for 7% of new coronavirus cases. New cases in South Korea have remained over 700 for the past 4 days. So far, 15.3 million people have received at least 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, while more than 5.3 million people have been fully vaccinated. In sports, proponents of the esports or online gaming industry are hoping for support from the community and the government to gain traction. Cebuano entrepreneur Michael Cubos, founder of Monarch Esports, said the firm is looking to develop the esports ecosystem in Cebu by helping professional and amateur players. He cited the importance of the government's role to unlock the industry's potential economic returns. Kubo said with the growing popularity of competitive video games, people can make money provided they have the skill and dedication. He also said much can still be done to further develop esports by supporting video gaming athletes in the international arena. In 2017, the Philippine Games and Amusement Board recognized esports as an official sport. In 2019, esports was highlighted when the Philippines hosted the 30th Southeast Asian Games, which included 6 esports titles as medal events. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. The Philippine Air Force dispels rumors that the ill-fated C-130 plane that crashed in Sulu over the weekend is overloaded. Condolences and tributes continue to pour in for the families of those killed in the mishap. The government is monitoring developments on yet another variant of COVID-19, the Lambda variant, which was first detected in Peru and has reportedly spread in 35 countries in Latin America. President Rodrigo Duterte condemns the illegal sale of COVID-19 vaccines. The palace is also warning those faking vaccination cards to stop the activity or be put behind bars. And no more paper license for drivers. The Transportation Department says the backlog on driver's license cards has been addressed. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day.